Well, that was fun. The Chicago Cubs to pick up the victory, scoring 10 runs against the Philadelphia Phillies. Can they win the series tomorrow? We're going to talk about that. Plus, guys, there's almost breaking news that the Chicago Cubs could potentially be adding another great pitcher to this order to help bolster this order. But they got some competition because the San Diego Padres are after him also. We're going to talk about it, all this and more, right after this. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. I'm your host, Mike Jones. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hey, do me a favor, guys. Make sure that you hit that like button, that share button, and that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Also, leave a comment below on today's topics. Also, make sure that if you are watching on Spotify or on Apple, that you leave a 5-star review. Appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Shout out to everybody on Twitch that's watching. Shout out to everybody on X that also may be tuning in. Now, with that being said, the Chicago Cubs do go ahead and take care of business. That's right. They go ahead and beat these Philadelphia Phillies. So you know what we got to do every single time the Chicago Cubs win a game. That's right, baby. We fly that W flag. We are back to 8-9 on the season, one game below 500. And the Chicago Cubs have an opportunity tomorrow to win another game. We're going to get you all prepared for that right after this. But right now, let's talk about and let's break down the game from Tuesday night. So Tuesday night's game started off with Riley Martin being an opener for Colin Ray. This was done to help extend Colin Ray, give him extra innings, and help him be able to get out of the first without having to see that death lineup that killed Javier Assad on Monday. So we wanted to make sure that that was done. And honestly, Cubs pitchers as a whole kept the top three, really the top four, in check the whole entire game. So Trey Turner, 1 for 4. Kyle Schwarber, 1 for 4. Bryce Harper, 0 for 4. Andolis Garcia, 0 for 3. And then Brandon Marsh is 1 for 3 in this game. So, again, the Chicago Cubs pitchers, shout out to them for doing their job. Shout out to Riley Martin getting his first start as an opener. And yeah, man, like I said, he handled business, got the first 3 outs, 1, 2, 3, did not waste any time, kept those guys off balance. And then the biggest shout out and your pick to perform, player of the game, Colin Ray comes in and pitches a strong 6 innings, allowing 4 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts on 87 pitches, 58 of those being strikes. He has a 3.63 ERA. Now, the 3 earned runs came off of 1 swing of the bat from Sosa, who he gave up that 1 home run to. And then the Philadelphia Phillies did not score again until the bottom of the 8th inning when they had the bases loaded, and Trey Turner was able to single and score Sosa off of that. Caleb Thielbar would come into the game, and he would shut the rest of that down, not allowing anything else to happen. And the Chicago Cubs cruised to a 10-4 victory. Not going to lie to you guys, after all the drama we've been through over the last couple of weeks, it's so refreshing to be able to have a game that you just kind of, you can just breeze by. You don't have to, it's not a nail biter. It's not can they make a comeback? Or it's not I'm completely pissed because they're getting blown out. But it's just a breeze by game. Appreciate these. Seriously, appreciate each and every breeze by game that you get because they don't come often. But I appreciate the fact that the Chicago Cubs did their part. Colin Ray, your pick to perform player of the game, doing his part. Hey, don't look now, but Michael Busch went 2 for 4 in this game. Alex Bregman went 3 for 5 in this game. Ian Happ went 2 for 5 in this game. Mo Bally went 1 for 2 in the game with a real nice base knock to score a run. And then we also had Carson Kelly going 2 for 4. Carson Kelly also getting his first home run of the season, having 3 RBIs in this game. And don't look now, Pete Crow Armstrong went 2 for 4 in this game, scoring 2 runs in this game. Denzel Swanson went 0 for 3 in the game, but he also scored 2 runs in the game. again, like I said, the Chicago Cubs offense kind of figuring things out as they went along in this game. And again, I just really appreciate the good hard work that the guys put in today in a really, really, really close ball game at the beginning. You know, the Chicago Cubs, after Colin Ray gave up that three run shot in the second, Chicago Cubs, it just looked like, oh man, here we go again. You know, it's all downhill from here. But no, Colin Ray tucked his hat and he was like, you know what? No, we're going to do our part in this. And he came back out there and he pitched his ass off for the next 5 innings and not giving up a single run after that, shutting them down. At one point, he shut down 12 straight in this game. So Colin Ray did his part for the Chicago Cubs to win this ball game. And like I said, kudos to him for doing that, and very, very much appreciate, you know, his efforts in helping the Chicago Cubs secure a victory to hopefully bring them closer to 500. Now, the Chicago Cubs do have a chance tomorrow to get to 500. Wednesday, 5:40 start time. Chicago Cubs going up against those same Philadelphia Phillies. Last one in Philadelphia for the season, unless we see them in the postseason. And then after that, you go up against the New York Mets, who are not playing their best baseball right now. They are 7-10. And like I said, and you have a chance to face these same Phillies next week for 4 in Chicago. So you got to look at this and say to yourself, the Chicago Cubs are giving themselves a chance here to really, really rev things up, facing a Phillies team that does not have Juan Soto, and facing facing a Mets team that does not have Juan Soto and is not playing their best baseball right now. 1:20 start time games all weekend long against them. Let's try to close this thing out against the Phillies. Let's try to win this series against the Phillies. You'll see them again 4 more times next week. If you can win this series and then take 2 against them next week, that puts you in really good shape going up against those Los Angeles Dodgers 4-3 at Dodger Stadium next weekend. So I like it. I think the Chicago Cubs have every opportunity to win this series, but it will not come easy. Why? Because they will face a man that has been an absolute thorn in the Chicago Cubs side. Who is that? Jesus Luzardo. Jesus Luzardo will be pitching tomorrow for the Philadelphia Phillies. Jesus Luzardo has not looked great so far this season, though. He is 1 for 2 with a 6.23 ERA, but do not let any of that fool you. He has always pitched his best baseball against the Chicago Cubs. So while things may look like, you know, the Chicago Cubs have a chance, which they do, to give them a chance every day, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough on our hitters. And it's really going to be tough because we have Shota Imanaga, who is pitching for the Cubs. And the Chicago Cubs, Shota Imanaga, is a fly ball pitcher. It's supposed to be a hot 90-degree day in Philadelphia on Wednesday. So the Chicago Cubs, the ball's going to be jumping out the park. So, like I said, the Chicago Cubs got to brace themselves for that. Shota Imanaga has to brace himself for that. He cannot get rattled if he gives up a home run, especially if it's just a 1 run scored on that home run. You just don't want to give up the big inning and dig yourself too big of a hole. Let's see if Shota can come in and have the same command he had last time against those Pittsburgh Pirates. Let's see if he can do it again and build off of that start. Again, and your player that I am going to lean on, I'm hoping that we get some more offense out of Moises Ballesteros and Pete Crow Armstrong. I want the young guys to really get some love in Philly, some Motown Philly love on Wednesday. Picking those two to outperform and to heat up in that game for the Chicago Cubs. We've also seen now that Craig Counsell with the DH role is willing to go left against left, right against right for the DH role. And I can't lie to you, I don't hate it. It worked in Tuesday night's game. Let's see if he continues to do it on Wednesday night for that game. So again, fly to W for the Chicago Cubs, 8-9. Got a chance to get back to 9-9, heading into a weekend series with the underperforming New York Mets. Do not take them lightly. You might see Juan Soto. He's supposed to be back running during running drills, hopefully for the Mets sometime this week. So, like I said, don't take them lightly. They still are a very good ball club, but it does lessen the blow when they don't have their super duper star Juan Soto out there facing against you. So we'll see what happens there. Now, on to the big news for today. The big news in this one, the Chicago Cubs and the San Diego Padres, among other teams, are keeping a close eye and talking with Lucas Giolito and his representatives. So the Chicago Cubs, obviously, we know you can never have too much pitching. This is the Cubs' philosophy. This is how they live. This is how they live. This is how the organization is ran. You can never say, oh, we have way too much pitching. You can never have enough pitching. The Chicago Cubs apparently are looking at potentially bringing Lucas Giolito to this club. So if the Cubs bring in Giolito, what does it bring to the Chicago Cubs, you may ask? Well, it brings stability and it brings high upside. It's not necessarily a flashy ace signing. 5 years ago, you might have said Lucas Giolito was a flashy ace signing. But however, what he does bring is immediate rotation help. He's a proven starter who can eat up innings, 145 innings pitched in 2025. That's huge for a Cubs team that's dealt with injuries and inconsistency in the rotation. Again, he's a mid-rotation arm with high upside. His 2025 numbers show he can pitch like a 2 or 3 starter when right. I would love to see Tommy Hotovy get his hands on him, get him fixed up and ready to go. He's not dominant like his peak years, but he's still very effective. Think what you saw from Aaron Nola and Zach Wheelers and guys like that. I believe Lucas Giolito can be that type of pitcher. Or think about it like this: Jameson Taillon last year in the postseason for the Chicago Cubs, how he was on. Think of Lucas Giolito as another version of that. He's had a bounce back late career value. So after missing the 2024 season, he rebounded strong in 2025, especially in the second half. This is the type of signing the Cubs hope for, value outperforming whatever contract they have to offer him. Not to mention, he's a veteran presence, so he adds experience to a staff that includes younger and or inconsistent arms. He can help stabilize games when the bullpen has been shaky. And then again, but you have to look at the risk factors for him too. There are legit concerns. He does have an injury history. He missed 2024 and early 2025. He had an IL stint also. Advanced metrics suggest he may have overperformed his ERA just a tad bit for 2025. But again, he's a high floor, medium ceiling pitcher, but not a guaranteed ace. And we wouldn't ask him to be an ace. He would just be somebody that would either come in and do that 3-4 spot, and you can move Javier Assad to the bullpen to give you innings in the bullpen and basically be there like Ben Brown is there for Shota and for Colin Ray. So bottom line, this move would signal the Cubs are trying to raise the floor of the rotation, not necessarily swing big, but he makes them more competitive right now, especially in a tight division. So in 2025, Lucas Giolito, his record 10-4. We would take that any day, all day. Our ERA of 3.41. He started 26 games for the Boston Red Sox. He pitched 145 innings. I'll take that any day. 121 strikeouts and a whip of 1.29. That will do. About a 7.5 strikeout rate with decent but not elite swing and miss. He has a strong stretch mid to late season where he pitched like a top tier arm. And again, the Cubs saw him and he pitched a very good game against the Chicago Cubs. I remember that in 2025. We struggled to get hits against him. So again, he raises the floor of the rotation. He gives Craig Counsell a reliable innings guy, and he helps protect the shaky bullpen. He's not something that will fix every move in the offense. Bullpen is still key, but he is definitely somebody that you can depend on to eat up innings. Just another stabilizer for the Chicago Cubs. And you want to get him before somebody else gets him in your division or in your conference. So you want to make sure that the Chicago Cubs do this. I'm all for the Cubs signing Lucas Giolito. Again, I just think the more arms, the better going down the stretch, because guys are going to have injuries. Guys are going to miss time. So you want to have as many as you can. And Lucas Giolito, maybe he can turn back the hands of time one more time and do what he's done. The Chicago Cubs are real big on reclamation projects. So would not shock me if in 2 weeks, Lucas Giolito is getting his first start for the Chicago Cubs. We'll just see. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Michael Busch's performance tonight? Your thoughts on PCA figuring things out a little bit? And what is your thoughts on the Chicago Cubs potentially signing Lucas Giolito. Listen, I need you guys to comment below. Thank you so much for tuning in. Go Cubs, go. Until next time, peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.